What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day here for today. Good evening to you guys. So we were doing a bit of a late live stream, considering it is late Friday, so I figured we go a little bit later, but hope you guys are doing good. It's good to have y'all here for another update. You know, it's been a little bit here since we did our last update. Been working on some stuff, getting some stuff done, but what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Let's see who we got here today. We have Ohio, we have Scott, we have Crystal, we have Court, we have Michelle, we have Glinda, Anthony, Tabletop, and of course everybody else who is just not chatting, but just hanging out. Hope you guys are doing good. So let's see here. What's up, Michelle? What's up, Glinda? Tabletop says, I'm glad to be done with this threat tonight. Yeah, we did have an enhanced risk today out there earlier. Today, we did have that level 3 threat. We've been downgraded to a level 2, but there still is a little bit of severe weather going on currently up here towards, like, New Jersey and, like, Delaware and Maryland, you know, kind of between the quad state area here between Maryland, like I mentioned, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. So we actually do have a tornado warning in effect right now out there by Newark. This is up in northern Delaware going on right now. But anyways, folks, well, that's not what we're here for tonight. We got some more severe weather coming up, though, and that's what we need to look out for. So we actually do have ourselves an extended range risk from the Storm Prediction Center that we're getting ready to go into. Let's see here. Anthony, I appreciate that, man. What's up, Brooklyn? Hello, hello. What's up, K-Jack? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Sarah? Sarah? Let's see here. Glenda says, will I have anything bad coming in my, anything bad in the coming week? Glenda, I don't remember exactly where you're at. You know, it's hard for me to remember exactly where everybody is at, but anyways, folks, well, let's go ahead and talk about the next couple of days. So we have today's risk that we are still dealing with here. Tomorrow, we got a little bit of a severe weather risk up in the plains. Now, we're talking day 4, day 5 also here in the risk for severe weather. So today is Friday, of course, which makes it a day 1. Tomorrow be day 2. Day 3 would be on Sunday. Day 4 would be Monday. So Monday and Tuesday are the days that we need to also be looking out there for severe weather in the plains. Now, tomorrow, we also do have a bit of a risk for severe weather up towards the mid-Atlantic here yet again. Today, obviously, we had a bit of nasty weather towards the regions. We had multiple tornado warnings earlier. This is actually where I grew up, and still where my dad lives. He still lives out here, which he's doing good. But Yeah, so we have a little bit more severe weather tomorrow. That is going to be a possibility. Now, tornado-wise, we have a little threat for tornadoes tomorrow up here in Oklahoma. This does include the areas out by Oklahoma City, Norman, where a couple of isolated tornadoes can't be ruled out. So, there is going to be the possibility for a tornado or two tomorrow. Up here across, Oklahoma. So, it would not hurt to just, monitor the weather tomorrow, as there is going to be that concern for tornado or tornadic activity. In terms of damaging winds, now that's going to be one of the leading concerns here tomorrow, which we do have a level 2 slight risk here for tomorrow across portions here of Oklahoma. This is a 15% risk here across the yellow, a 5% risk here across the brown. So tomorrow's greatest risk for damaging winds is going to be across the yellow. Once again, this does include the Oklahoma City area. So basically, we are talking the potential of where we could see some damaging winds gusting between 60 and maybe upwards of 70 miles an hour will be a possibility within tomorrow's storms. Then, of course, out by the mid-Atlantic, we have a pretty large but low-end threat for damaging winds, which comes in at a 5% chance here once again overall. Now, in terms of hail, that is also going to be tied up with the wind risk here for tomorrow. We do have a 15% hail risk as well, looking at the possibility here for hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. As of right now, we do not have any significant risk for hail, so that's definitely some good news. So that's pretty much what we're going on here for tomorrow or for Saturday. Now, Sunday, not really much severe weather going on Sunday. A little bit of a marginal risk out here by Texas, and I'm actually up here in the northwest here as well, towards like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, where we do have a marginal level 1 threat. Now, here is where we work our way over here into Monday. Now, as of right now, Monday, we have ourselves a 15% risk here for severe weather up across western Nebraska, cutting through South Dakota, going through southeastern North Dakota here in the kind of west central side here of Minnesota. This is where we are going to have that shot for severe weather once again. Now, this is equivalent to a slight risk or a level 2 severe weather threat. This is a 15% risk overall as a collective for severe weather. So, once again, those regions here is in the risk here for Monday. So we do need to be weather aware here Monday up towards the central northern plains. Now, working our way into Tuesday, that threat actually does shift its way down here a little bit here towards north central Texas, including the Wichita Falls area here for Tuesday. And then that does cut through portions here of central Oklahoma as well, including Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa. Some of those regions will be at risk for severe weather here on Tuesday. And then we work our way up here in towards like the east central side here of Kansas, in which we do also have that 15% risk here overall for severe weather again. And then lastly, in southeastern Nebraska, there is a little sliver just barely south of Lincoln here. Would not be surprised if Lincoln does end up ultimately in some form of risk here for Tuesday, as we are literally right on the edge of that 15% as of right now. So we'll definitely need to be looking out there for that. We're going to get the models here in a little bit. We'll do a bit of a breakdown, kind of show you guys what's in the atmosphere, kinematic-wise, thermodynamic-wise. We'll let you guys know essentially the ingredients in terms of what is going on. Anyways, let me see here. Glenda, let's see. Once we take a look at this area for the next coming days, you're a little worried. Let me peek and see. Okay, you're up here up in Tennessee. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think we have anything really going on here. Tomorrow we have a level 1 threat, which pretty low in risk for severe weather. No tornadoes tomorrow. Just a little 5% chance for gusty winds, and you're actually outside of that hail risk. So, to be honest with you, your threat tomorrow is very minimal, but an isolated strong storm or two cannot be ruled out. Then we work our way into day 3, which would be here on Sunday, in which we do not have anything overall. So, an isolated storm or two tomorrow could be possible, which could get a little gusty. But other than that, the odds of you seeing like really nasty severe weather is fairly low here overall. So you are looking pretty good, my friend. Nothing really big going on in your area. Let's see here. Anthony says, so I don't see Joplin in the area on the threat. Do I think we'll see anything? You're in Miami, Oklahoma. Gotcha. So you want me to look here for Joplin, Missouri? Is it Joplin, Missouri, or? Okay. Yep, you're up in the northeastern side of Oklahoma. Oh, okay. At least from SPC, tomorrow we have a thunderstorm threat, so don't be surprised if you see a few booms of thunder. We cannot rule that out. Then of course going into Sunday, as of right now, there is nothing per SPC. Going into Monday, nothing. Tuesday could be a concern. So while you're not directly in that 15% as of right now, you are just outside of it. So I do think that you could be in the threat, or possibly in the threat for severe weather here on Tuesday. So coming up next Tuesday, we do have that 15% that's literally right on the edge of you here, in which I definitely would be looking out there for. So let's go and take a moment to hop to the models here. We're gonna take a peek at it and see what's going on here. Overall. So let's go ahead and hop on over to that now. So switching on over here to the GFS, because we're still kind of in the long range of things. We still are a little bit of a ways out, but let's go ahead and actually zoom in out a little bit here. Perfect. So we work our way down in time. By the way, the time is in the top right. If you guys do want to follow along, there we go. Now it matches. For some reason, I was zoomed in a little bit too far. But yeah, we work our way down in time here, and you can actually see for Tuesday, for late Monday, actually, this is for late Monday. According to the GFS, we definitely do build in a pretty good amount of fuel for storm activity, indicated here in the bluish and the green colors here, showing that instability, that fuel for storm activity overall. So that is what we need to look out there for. We definitely do have a pretty good amount of fuel in the atmosphere here, plenty enough for convection and for, strong to severe thunderstorm activity here for late Monday. Now, one of the big things you want to look at for when forecasting severe weather and thunderstorms in general is not only the amount of fuel or the instability that's in the atmosphere, but also the kinematics, like the wind shear, and how much wind shear we have in the atmosphere and whatnot. So between that, is also moisture too is a really good thing that we need to look at for. So take a look at those dew points here for the same time for kind of late Monday. You can see we definitely do have a pretty good amount. I said dew, no pun intended. At our dew points here, we are looking in the, in the 60s and even the 70s potentially, according to GFS here, towards the Central Plains and the Midwest here. So there's plenty enough moisture. Absolutely, for these storms to go on. I mean, typically for thunderstorm development and severe weather, you'd want those surface dew points to be, in the 60s, and 70s is considered kind of high, in terms of moisture. So that's certainly there in place, and we definitely do have a pretty good amount of moisture out here towards the plains and the Midwest and everything like that. Now, looking at our lower level jet stream here, so overlapping all that instability, we do have ourselves a little bit of a lower level jet. You can see we have a bit of northerly moving air here in our lower atmosphere, which the winds, they aren't really significant per se. I mean, as of right now, GFS suggests maybe a 30, 35 knot lower level jet, which if other ingredients are in place that could support tornadic activity, but it likely wouldn't be anything significant given a lower level jet like that. Our mid-level flow is actually very weak. Matter of fact, we're actually about 20 knots, so the winds are actually weakening as we go up in altitude. I mean, typically for really good organization and good organized severe weather, you'd really want, the wind shear to, or the wind speeds, to increase as you go up in altitude. And in this case, here for late Monday, it's kind of a little bit low. So that's why we don't have the risk here for Monday. However, you may have noticed the further up north that we go here, towards, like North South Dakota here for Monday, that's actually where we have our risk. And also we do have more stronger mid-level flow. Lower level wind shear here as well. Not really anything super crazy. And actually, if we hop our way back over here to the outlook here for Monday, you can see that risk here is in some of those regions there, and not towards the plains where the mid-level flow is fairly weak. So good organization of storms in this area. While there could be storms for sure, there likely wouldn't be anything like strong or really anything to kind of quickly develop into anything nasty. So at least that should be fairly low of a threat, if any at all. So, but yeah, so that's for Monday. Now going into Tuesday, like we mentioned, that's where the severe weather concern goes south. Out here by Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas here. Now, hopping back to the models here, in which we're going to do right now, working our way further down into time. Let's first switch to the Central Plains, hop back to our instability, and then we work our way over here into later Tuesday. Now, you kind of notice here that a lot of the Midwest starts to build in a pretty good amount of instability and fuel for thunderstorm activity here. You can see up here towards Missouri, towards Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas. We definitely do build in a pretty good amount of fuel and instability here in the region. So that will be good for storm activity, of course, because we have a lot of fuel that's in place here. What's up, Frankie? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Anthony says, thank you, my man. Times are hard right now, or I'd send you some cash. Hey, don't worry about it, man. Thank you for everything you do. You're very welcome, man. I understand that completely. And, of course, like I mentioned, nobody has to donate or anything like that. While I really do appreciate it, and it really does help us out, nobody has to. I'm just glad to be able to be here to give you guys the information that you need. That's the whole reason that we're here, is just to help you guys out here. But I appreciate that, Anthony. Thank you so much, dude. Glinda says, anything from my area on day 3? So, as of right now, Glinda, no. You are not really in anything big. So, day 4, day 5, Monday and Tuesday, we do have those risks, like we were just talking about, towards the northern and central plains. So, not tomorrow. Why am I saying tomorrow? Monday. For Monday, we have that risk up in the northern plains. And then, of course, going into Tuesday, that risk kind of goes down towards the central plains. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if on Tuesday's threat, that moves eastward. I really think that, obviously looking at the GFS here, going back to the models and stuff, we have a pretty good amount of fuel and, unstable air across the Midwest, further east where the risk is now. Do not be surprised if on Tuesday that risk does extend into Missouri, potentially. It's already close to it now, but I just would not be surprised if it did, okay? Anyway, so taking a look now back at the models here, of course, we have our GFS up still. So once again, pretty good amount of instability here for kind of the afternoon, evening of Tuesday. We look at our lower level wind shear. Now, looking at our lower level jet, it's actually kind of decent. We have a 40, good 50 knot lower level jet, which could definitely support possibly some tornadic activity. If other conditions are met, then yeah, given that lower level jet, that's something that you would definitely need for a pretty good event for tornadic activity. According to GFS, pretty strong lower level flow, is in place here with a lot of that instability. Now, our mid-level flow, on the other hand, isn't anything significant, but we have enough wind shear to allow for good storm organization and to get the ball rolling. So, as you can see here for later Tuesday, there is a good maybe 45, maybe 50, 55 knots of mid-level flow, right around 20,000 feet or so, which could definitely allow for good organization of storms to potentially occur. Now, it is nothing excessive with our mid-level wind shear, but, we definitely have some. Now, taking a look back at the, the moisture and everything, like I said, we have a really, really good amount of moisture up here. We're talking dew points here in the lower, possibly mid-70s, which is actually pretty darn high. That's a pretty good amount of moisture up across portions of the Midwest here in the Central Plains. So, like I mentioned here, just based off of what GFS is suggesting here, I really wouldn't be surprised if that risk does move its way to the east. Now, let's go and grab a little sounding out here by Kansas City, 21 UTC. This is for the afternoon, the later afternoon here for Tuesday. I know this doesn't really fit the screen very well, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hop back down here, and we're going to bring this guy down. There we go. So, looking at our skew T-chart, I know there's a lot of gibberish on here, especially to people who have never seen this before. It could be a little intimidating, but don't you worry. Don't take it all in at once. Yeah, you can't do that, or else you'll get overwhelmed. But looking just at this area right here. Okay, so just look at these little wind barbs, right? So this is indicating upper level winds up here. This is lower level winds down here. This is mid level winds. And you can see the equivalent altitude: 6 kilometers, 9 kilometers, 12 kilometers, 15, 3, 1, and 0. So you can see, this goes up. It represents the atmosphere up. As you go up on the chart, you're going up in the atmosphere. Anyways, So, you can see a lot of these wind barbs here kind of pointing to the northeast. That means the winds in this direction, the winds in this case are going from the southwest to the northeast. And that's kind of how it is across a lot of the atmosphere here in this sounding here. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of veering going on here. I mean, we do have a little bit of, effective inflow layer, SRH, or storm relative helicity, of around 204, which, I mean, give or take, that could definitely be maybe a small concern for tornadic activity. We have pretty strong wind shear in our lower atmosphere. Not a whole lot of strong backing going on here, but there is definitely enough where I think that we could maybe see a isolated tornado or two. Could be possible. And also our deep cape's pretty high too. I mean, there's other indicators, indicating potential for damaging winds, maybe even some hail as well in a sounding like this here, even based off of the SARS analog here. I mean, we definitely go up pretty high into potential hail size. I mean, we're talking pretty big hail potential in a sounding like this. Remember, this is not 100% exactly what the atmosphere will probably look like. It's giving an idea based off of what it could look like, if that makes sense. So once again, models are not perfect, but they give us an idea of what things could look like. I mean, it definitely could look a whole lot different, the time that we actually come up to Tuesday. So that is kind of a triple threat, for potential severe weather. Now, let's hop back to the models here. I'm going to go ahead and grab another sounding. Let's grab one out by Springfield, roughly near the Springfield area here. Just going to grab another quick little sounding here. Let's bring you guys back down here again. So same thing really for Springfield. I mean, if you kind of look, there's really not much difference going on here. I mean, it's actually a fairly similar sounding regarding everything. Now, one thing that I will mention is that the wind shear down further to the south is a little bit weaker, as you can kind of tell. I mean, we're about 35 knots throughout a lot of the atmosphere. I mean, to be honest with you, in a sounding like this, it looks like a lot of the winds are moving at the same speed and relatively the same direction across a lot of the atmosphere, both lower and upper levels. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, we definitely could get some good storm organization going on out there. Bottom line, I do think that the Midwest could be in for maybe a bit of severe weather, towards Missouri here for Tuesday. I think it could be a possibility. Anyways, let me get to some of these comments. I was kind of just rambling off there, my bad. So whenever I get going, I just go. Let's see here. What's up, Dixie? Hope you're doing good. Saying, checking in from Cheyenne Wells, Colorado. What's up? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Nothing going on in Colorado anytime soon. Nothing severe weather-wise anyways. But so for basically the next couple of days, I mean, we do have a thunderstorm potential for the next 3 days, but yeah, nothing severe out there. But hope you're doing good, my friend. What's up, Cheryl? Saying hello, everyone. Happy Friday. You as well, my friend. Happy Friday to you as well. Ponderosa says, I like the shirt. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love this shirt, too. I always love this shirt that I got a while back. I need to get me more of them, but I appreciate it. What's up, WWT? Hope you're doing good, my friend. What's up, SPC? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, guys, so like I mentioned, Monday, Tuesday, we definitely do need to be weather aware, and we do need to be watching out for the potential of severe weather. Like we mentioned, looking at the models and stuff, I mean, there is going to be a pretty good amount of instability to dew point, to wind shear ratio. So, look out there, especially Tuesday. I think we definitely could see a pretty good amount of severe weather going on. Now, European models actually, wow, look at that. Look how similar they are. This is the GFS model here, looking at the lower level jet. Looking at Euro on top of it, I mean, it's pretty daggone similar. In terms of the kinematics here, at least in our lower atmosphere, pretty darn similar. Mid-level flow here, too. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much neck and neck between the models here. I mean, we're talking... You know what? That's got to be probably the closest that I've seen the Euro and the GFS agree this far out. I mean, yeah, it's 100 hours out, but that's got to be pretty close. Wow. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, both between the GFS American model as well as the ECMWF here, the Euro, they're pretty on spot. What's up, Renita? Hope you're doing good, my friend. What's up, Samuel? Welcome. Let's see here. Rife says, can I get a check on Yazoo, Mississippi? Yes, you can. Let's hop back over here real quickly. So Yazoo City, I'm assuming. You are out of the risk today and tomorrow. So going into Sunday, we could have an isolated storm or two. I mean, given that you're in that general thunderstorm risk here, so nothing really super crazy anyways expected. And in the extended range, there is nothing for you. So extended range forecast from SPC right now only includes Monday and Tuesday, and the risk here's Monday's risk up across, once again, west central Minnesota, southeast North Dakota, cutting straight through South Dakota and into western Nebraska. Then Tuesday's threat shifted a little bit to the south, out by north central Texas, cutting through Oklahoma, up into central eastern Kansas, a little bit of southeastern Nebraska. Now, like I mentioned, though, I really would not be surprised if that risk does extend pretty far eastward by the time we do reach Tuesday. Like I said, models, hey, man, looking at what Euro and the GFS were suggesting, showing pretty good kinematics, pretty good, moisture and instability, all of them together showing dew points well in the lower 70s. I mean, that's pretty high in lower level moisture. Decent lower level flow, like I said, 35, maybe 40 knots of wind shear or more between both the models. And, looks pretty nice. Looks pretty good. But, yeah, I would not be surprised if that does extend eastward over the next little bit here. So, but, yeah, for Yazoo City, though, we are chilling. Nothing severe really expected in the next 5 days or so. Anyways, what's up, Braven? What's up, Andrew from Sioux Falls, South Dakota? Good to have you here, my friend. So Sioux Falls, just a bit of a heads up. Actually, you're just to the north. Or, sorry, you're just to the south. My bad. You are just to the south of the main risk here for Monday. So I would watch it. I mean, let me take a peek back at the models real quickly. And I'm going to see if GFS does suggest anything. Here, let's see here. Let me bring you guys over here really quickly. Alrighty, so looking at like late Monday going into Tuesday, I mean, we have pretty good dew point values here. I really want to look at the instability. This is Euro. I mean, GFS and Euro do show pretty good amount of instability for later Monday. So while Sioux Falls is not the risk here, I know you didn't ask for it, but it's good to keep you guys weather aware. While Sioux Falls right now isn't in the risk, I would not be surprised if there could be a little bit of concern for severe weather Monday. I mean, given between Euro GFS, there is, everything kind of in place for it, so it's possible. Let's see here. What's up, Dinah? Is that how you say your name? Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I'm not good with names at all, but hope you're doing good, my friend. This is exactly the type of pre-storm coverage I've been looking for. I appreciate it. Well, I'm glad you're here, my friend. Hope you are doing good. Cheryl says, any storms happening in Florida tonight? We've been dealing with a pretty good amount of storm activity here in Florida today. Really the last couple of days. It's actually been nice. We've been getting our activity back here. Right now, though, not a whole lot going on. I mean, yeah, there's really not a whole lot of storm activity going on right now for Florida. We do actually have a little bit of a special weather statement here towards the Big Bend of Florida, south of Perry, towards Mayonnaise, or Mayo. 40-mile-an-hour wind gust potential, a little bit of a line kind of rolling through North Florida. But, yeah, other than that, really not a whole lot more going on right now. Tomorrow, we do have another risk for severe weather in Florida for, like, the central, south central, and southern Florida. We have a risk here for a little bit of severe weather tomorrow. So, and then day 3, thunderstorm risk here for Sunday. Let's see here. Dinah says, looking at the models earlier, and the 108-hour mark was looking pretty nasty. What for when? For what model were you looking at? Here, let's take a look back here. Actually, we're gonna bring you guys over here real quickly. Let's go about 100 hours out. Oh, are you talking about like the Central Plains and stuff? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. There's been a lot of people hyping up a potential tropical cyclone. Do not fall for it. Do not. It is way too early to tell. Okay? I cannot tell you how much I've been seeing people posting, oh my gosh, hurricane in the Gulf. Oh my gosh, tropical cyclone. Don't listen to it. Hurricane Center has nothing on it right now. It is too far out in the models. Yes, the GFS has been being GFS like it usually is every year and throwing random curveballs left and right every run. But no, As of right now, nothing in the Atlantic. But we do have Alvin, though. Alvin is dying in the Eastern Pacific, but in the Atlantic-wise, no. That's kind of what I was thinking. You're talking about here is people were going crazy over this, but it's just way too far out. Way too far out. Hey, if it holds up about 5 days, 5 days to a week or so before it happens, if I continue to see support, and if I start seeing multiple models support it, then we'll talk about it. But now, too early, probably not going to happen. So, anyways. Let's see here. Anthony says, I tried going to the link that Nightbot gave for merchandise. It says a page not found. Is there another place I can go? I forgot. I kind of messed up that link a while back. I'm sorry. Yes. Maybe? Hey, Anthony, are you in our Discord server? Because if you are not, if you want to, you can join my Discord server, and I will figure out a way to give you the merchandise link, because I don't know what's going on with it. I might need to be honest with you, I'm going to actually overhaul the merch. I need to. It's been like over a year or two since I did the merchandise, so we're just going to completely overhaul that. Anthony, I will have that ready as soon as I can. Okay? Let's see here. I was looking at the Central Plains, Oklahoma, all the way up through Southwest Illinois. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's actually what we were just taking a look at here a minute ago. You can see right here, looking over towards like the GFS. I mean, it's pretty amazing how in sync the Euro and the GFS are. You know, the American and the European model are actually pretty much in sync. You know, regarding the moisture content, the kinematics, really. You know, like I said, really everything that you need for severe weather to occur. I do think that, you know, kind of early next week could be decent, especially Tuesday. Seems like Tuesday is the best ratio, kinematic to instability. So we'll see what happens. Let's see here. You had an EF2 tornado in Kentucky today. Is that true? Did you? Hold on, let me pull up SPC. And I know there was a lot of tornado warnings up by where I used to live up in Northern Virginia, in Maryland. Was there? There is only one confirmed tornado today. That was in Georgia, apparently. Huh. Here, let me bring you guys over here real quickly. So this was up in Georgia. Oh, wait, why am I... Hold on a minute. No, there we go. I was on the wrong date for some... Eastern Tennessee, there we go. So that's where we had one confirmed tornado today. Who is messaging me? Oh. Look at all those wind reports, though. I mean, we had a handful. Of tornado warnings and stuff today. Why am I so bright? Oh my gosh, I'm so bright. But yeah, we had a handful of them, and I don't think any of those materialized up by the Mid-Atlantic. But boy, did we have a lot of wind reports, though. Ooh. Oh, shoot, look at this. This is today. 5 people injured, EF0 with 85-mile-an-hour max winds. Path of 2 miles. Path width was 200 yards. Most damage indicators along Holt Road and New Hope Road. Injuries occurred with Campe? Did they just mean... Huh? I'm confused. Is that camp or... I don't know. That's in Loudoun County, Tennessee. 4 miles northwest of Sweetwater. That was today. Yeah, but 5 people have been injured, apparently. Sheesh. What's up, Evans? Hope you're doing good. Thursday was looking pretty good, too. Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that actually a while back, is that early June seemed like it's looking pretty decent for severe weather potential. Absolutely. It was west of Danville. I'm not seeing it on the official SPC's website. All I see is that EF0 that happened up in Tennessee today. That's all I saw. Was it yesterday? No. We had 15 tornado reports yesterday, though. One up in Georgia, Florida, Texas. Was this today? Are you sure? Yeah, I don't see anything. Anyways, you're not on Discord, but I'll have to make one. I'm not very techie. Sounds good. Thank you. No, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, I'll get on that. I'll get on the merch soon, Anthony. I do need to re overhaul everything on the merch page, so we're gonna make sure to do that soon. I need to. It's been so long since we've updated that. Washington County. Really? That's weird. That's weird that it's not popping up on SPC's site though. Yeah, there you go, Dinah. Seems like you're doing pretty good. Saw a tour in Kentucky this morning. I got you. I didn't see it, but I mean, I believe you. It's just weird if they don't have it on SPC's site. All right, y'all. Let's take a moment to talk about Alvin and the Chipmunks. So we do have Tropical Storm Alvin going on here. It's actually weakening quite a bit. We are down to 45. I really need to fix that in the top right. It's a little faint. You can barely see it. 45 mile an hour sustained winds, pressure down to 1,003 millibars, and movement is north at 10 miles an hour. So that is up to date. We do got some tropical storm warnings here, which does extend into western coastal Mexico. So there is going to be some impacts out there for some of those regions along western Mexico, you know, with rip currents and all that stuff. It could be a concern. And this depression is actually, or this storm, future tropical depression, is probably going to be tomorrow morning when you wake up. It'll probably be a depression again, because it's starting to really ingest a lot of drier air and actually cooler temperature waters as well. So it's quickly going to die out. But yeah, I mean, it could bring a lot of rain to some of the regions out here, you know, up by the southern tip of Baja California. Remember, this is not the United States. This is Mexico. But, I mean, we could have some impacts out there regarding that. Let me hop you guys here. Let me bring you here temporarily. Let me bring up the let me bring up the Hurricane Center's outlooks real quickly. It's good to look at that. And believe it or not, we have another storm that we're watching after this one. Okay, so let me hop y'all back here to the cone. So there you go. There's kind of where the tropical storm force winds are right now, kind of where this yellow marker is. And you can see it's far enough away from land. But, you know, those western sides of Mexico there, you know, we are probably going to still notice some rip currents and stuff like that. Across the region, but it is definitely going to be, weakening very, very shortly overall. So that is certainly good news. Now, right now, tropical storm force wind probabilities of it, directly impacting land is actually pretty low. So, really with Alvin that we have going on right now, really not a lot of heavy impacts or anything like that, really expected. Overall. So that is certainly some good news. But anyways, and yes, you did hear me right. There is another storm potential. So we have Alvin here. We have the other storm. This is another disturbance. It has an overall 30% chance of tropical development. So throughout the next 2 days or the next 48 hours, we are not expecting any tropical development to occur. That's a 0% chance. It says it's low, which, yeah, I mean, it's really no chance, essentially, for the next 48 hours. But, yeah, for the next week, the next 7 days, we do a 30% chance probability here for development upon this new system here. So it's still a little early. Right now, obviously, we have Alvin here that's kind of struggling a little bit, of course, rolling into a lot of that dry air like we mentioned here. But yeah, let's take a peek at the models. I'm really curious. Actually, we have the new GFS starting to render, but I don't think we're going to be able to see it on the stream here because it is it's literally just starting to render, and it takes a little bit of time. Let's see here. Evans, I did not know about that. You think a bad hurricane season for 2025? It'll likely be above active or above normal, yeah. Is there a tornado risk for Oklahoma tomorrow? A very small one. Here, let me show you real quickly. So hopping over to day 2, which is tomorrow, we have a 2% chance for tornadoes tomorrow. So that's up across Lawton, Oklahoma City, Norman. Not, of course, that's not saying that these areas will get a tornado, of course. It's just a little 2% risk out there for tornadoes. So we can't rule out potential for a spin up or two. But even if we did, it would remain likely weak and brief. So not really anything super crazy. How long am I going to be live tonight? I have no idea, my friend. Typically, I just kind of wing it and go live as long as we really need to. Sometimes, more than others, but I just try to give all of this information out, kind of pump it all out at once, and all that. But sometimes we have streams that last over an hour or so, way more than that sometimes. But our typical update streams typically last about an hour or so. We've already been live 40 minutes, so yeah. Anyways, folks, all right, let's go and hop our way over to the models. We're going to take a peek here at the GFS. This is the 18 Zulu UTC run. This is the latest full model run that we have right now. The 0 UTC is rendering right now, but like I said, it's just starting. It's going to be a little bit before we get that, so we'll probably not be able to see that one on the stream here. Anyway, so there is Alvin. Alvin, like I said, is weakening quick. I mean, it's running into that dry air. Actually, real quickly, I'll go ahead and show you what's going on with it. So there's the core of the storm here. Let's just go full screen here for a minute. And you can see that, there's the core. I mean, it's just really losing a lot of its heat and everything. I mean, if we take a look here at the water vapor, you can see all of that dark the black color here. This is representing dry air. The green representing the moist upper levels. The blue representing the moist lower mid levels of the atmosphere. The storm itself, still has some moisture, of course. It's collected from further south, but it's moved into the environment here where there's a lot of dry air, which is quickly allowing for the storm to kind of dry itself out. It's really kind of just killing itself, overall. So, with that being said, the storm is not expected to strengthen anymore. It is going to weaken really quickly. It is a low-end tropical storm right now, likely to be a depression by the time you wake up tomorrow. So that is good. That is definitely good. So impacts from Alvin are not really going to be anything super big. So I'm definitely thankful for that, and I'm sure you guys are as well. So yeah, that's just a quick little view. But hopping back to the models here, y'all, which we're going to look at here now. Back to the 18 UTC run, we'll bring up the Eastern Pacific. So that's all of Alvin. Now we work our way down in time. The GFS here, you can kind of see, has something spinning up here for right around June 4th, maybe June 5th or so, which is really interesting. I mean, I don't want to go too far into models here, but, it's really interesting. GFS just kind of really has that maybe hugging, Central America here, which, I mean, kind of odd. Let me take a look at the 12 Zulu from earlier. It's good to kind of compare runs and stuff. Yeah, so the 12 Zulu does look a little bit different here, but it really does kind of hug southern Mexico here as we work our way over here kind of in the first week of June, for the later first week of June. So, we're going to have to keep an eye out there for this. I mean, this has potential for development here overall, in which we're going to continue to monitor. Looking at the ECMWF here, the European model, running back to the 12 Zulu run. So there's Alvin there. Working our way down in time here. Euro. Okay, so Euro does have that system kind of hugging southern Mexico here as well. But eventually, this is getting way too far down in time, but eventually the Euro does have it picking up more strength, but who knows? It's kind of out in La La Land, given the fact that it's 200 plus hours out, so never really a good thing to look that far. Now lastly, CMC. Actually CMC has it a fairly more organized here, as you can kind of tell. This next one, if it does materialize, at least from early guidance as of right now, does signify that there could be the potential of impacts, as this next storm system could hug a lot closer to southern Mexico, which could definitely be more of a concern than Alvin was. So we'll have to watch out for maybe our second named storm up here in the Eastern Pacific. Right now, probabilities of formation still relatively low due to the amount of uncertainty that there is right now, but we'll have to just continue to monitor it and see what happens. Anthony says, I got to head out. Have an awesome night, my man. Thank you again for all you do. God bless you. I appreciate that, Anthony. You as well, my friend. It's good to have you here. What's the difference between the 18 and the 12 Zulu? Is it just the time the model started? Are you talking about the Euro? So European model kind of runs in two different modes. You have the short run and then the long run. So it goes every other is the long run, or every other is the short run. So for example, the 18 Zulu that we have right now. Here, let's go and bring you guys back here. The 18 Zulu that we have right now goes to forecast hour 144, which is early the 5th. Now, whenever it comes to the 12 Zulu, that goes all the way up down to 360 hours out. So, that's the long run, which happens at 0 UTC and 12 UTC, which would be 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Anyways, if so, do you typically go off the most recent run? Yeah, typically going off the most recent run gives us the most newest data available. Because basically how models run is you have a bunch of observations, via satellite, radar, observation stations. I believe even aircraft data from normal flights measures the weather as they go through the flight, and they can measure the atmosphere. I could be wrong on that, but I do know a lot of that data, that information does get put into these supercomputers, in which calculates, formulas and equations, of thermodynamics and of kinematics and all kinds of stuff. And it projects it on a time series going further in time. Now, obviously, the newest model has the latest data, in which the newest model would be the best one to go off of. But sometimes it is good to look back in older models to see how they've changed and how much of a trend has, or see if there is any trends, I should say. Sometimes it's very important to do that, especially for hurricane season. Very important to look at every run available, or at least couple of recent runs available for sure. It helps kind of narrow things down a little bit and kind of see what the model is aiming towards. Will Arizona get thunderstorms from Alvin? Nah. Storm's just going to die out. There's too much dry air getting fed into the storm right now. It's just going to end up suffocating itself, which it's already starting to do. What's up, Austin? Saying, hey, man, how's Piney Flats, Tennessee looking tonight and tomorrow? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Let's hop on back here. So there's nothing severe weather-wise going up here in Tennessee for today. So the only area that, really today is pretty much over with. So really not a whole lot going on in Tennessee. Tomorrow, we do have... I'm a little concerned for thunderstorms along the kind of north-central going to the eastern side of the state. Now, for you, and you said that you are here in Piney Flats... let's go ahead and bring this up here. Okay, so you're actually in the risk for severe weather tomorrow. It's a level 1 severe weather threat. The good news is that there is no tornado threat, so we're not in a risk for tornadoes tomorrow. We do have a 5% chance for damaging winds, talking the potential up here for gusty winds between 60 and 70 miles an hour. And then lastly, in terms of hail, we do not have a hail threat. So, there is going to be the possibility for a few gusty winds tomorrow within a couple of storms, which, an isolated severe storm or two, it's possible, although quite unlikely. So keep an eye on the weather. There could be a little bit of nasty storm activity here tomorrow, but, we'll just have to see. What's up, Tang? Hope you're doing good. Saying hi from Southeast Michigan. Is there anything going on next week for Michigan? Not as of right now. No, there's really not anything going on up there. Hopping back to the models here, which I'll even go ahead and show you. So here's the state of Michigan here. So, really the next several days, maybe late... maybe kind of on Wednesday. Wednesday, the GFS kind of suggests maybe a bit of instability building in. Let's see what Euro suggests here. Euro suggests maybe a little bit of instability as well. As of now, what I'm going off of is the SPC. The Storm Prediction Center has no risk as of right now for Michigan, but looking at the models myself, you can see that they're, the Euro, ECMWF, European model, and the GFS American model do suggest maybe some instability here for Wednesday. Lower level wind shear, maybe 30 knots or so. Mid-level flow, 40 knots. So it seems pretty linear. I don't think there's going to be much of a tornadic concern with this. Let me check on the moisture levels here. Oh, yeah. Look at that. 60, 70 degree dew points. Hey, you know what? Maybe for Wednesday, for at least probably the central southern side, there could be the risk for some storms. Up in northern Michigan, it doesn't really look like there's... really the conditions needed for that. Who knows? That could evolve. That could change. Grabbing a sounding here, yeah, you can see that a lot of the flow, as we were looking at, is relatively moving in the same direction. So throughout the atmosphere, lower, mid, upper levels, the winds are kind of flowing in the same direction here. So typically for tornadic activity, you'd want aggressive changing winds in the lower atmosphere. Yeah, I really don't see any tornadic concern. Also, our helicity is pretty low, so that's certainly good. And so as of now, nothing tornado-wise. But given some pretty strong lower level instability, I mean, also mid level shear, there could be some decently organized storms potentially. Remember, this is possible. This is still Wednesday, so it still is a couple days out, of course. There could be some changes, but I mean, there could be some storms, maybe some weak severe weather potential, but we'll see. I mean, Euro does kind of agree too. You know, GFS Euro does show a decent amount, maybe. I mean, not a whole lot, nothing excessive, you know, at all, but a little bit of instability for storms. So there's fuel there. Kinematics. Euro is actually a bit weaker on the wind shear as like the GFS is, so probably not anything going to be. And probably not going to be anything like big or anything like that. But you know, wouldn't hurt to keep an eye on Wednesday. Is maybe a little bit of severe weather could be possible. Anyways, need to be weather aware. Yeah, I mean, I would keep an eye on it. It's possible, but I don't think it's gonna be anything significant. At least from what I'm seeing right now. What's up, Freebird? Saying hi, Andrew. What's up for Indiana on Wednesday? Actually, we were just talking about Wednesday here. So, I mean, yeah, Indiana could be one of those areas involved as well. I mean, you can see here for kind of the afternoon, evening of Wednesday, we do have kind of a frontal system rolling through, a little frontal boundary, a little bit of a cold front here. It looks like it could actually stall, which we'll have to see. But, yeah, you can see here for kind of the afternoon on Wednesday. I mean, we definitely do build in some instability out there. Euro, the ECMWF here also kind of agrees as well and shows, you know, some forms of instability rolling into the region. So, you know, there is fuel for storms. Lower level winds, GFS suggests northeasterlies, or winds going northeast, I should say. I believe that's southwesterlies. Northeast wind movement, winds going to the northeast. About 40 knots, which is pretty strong. Mid-level flow, about the same, 40 knots or so, which is pretty weak for mid-level flow. Typically, you'd want that to increase, but good enough. And looking at the moisture and stuff, yeah, I mean, we're going to be in some pretty muggy conditions more than likely. You know, given dew points in the upper 60s, lower 70s, you're going to know it's going to be quite muggy when you get dew points that high. That's typically when you really feel the mugginess and stuff. So it'll be pretty muggy there for Wednesday. I mean, given potential, yeah, I mean, it looks certainly possible that we could get some storms. I mean, we'll have to see about severity. But as of now, I mean, SPC does not have a risk for you, but, you know, going off what the models like Euro and GFS suggest, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I would not rule it out. I mean, yeah, this is kind of a sounding where maybe a couple of isolated tornadoes could occur, you know, possibly some damaging winds. Not much of a hail sounding, really, for this one. I mean, yeah, hail's pretty low end. I mean, there's not much you know, super dry lower levels or anything like that could help enhance that. Also, yeah, looking at the SARS analog shows hail pretty low end. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wednesday would be the day for that to potentially happen too. Dinah, yeah, I got you. Would be shocked if there's floods in the Great Lakes region. Let me bring back up GFS real quickly. Let's pull up our total precipitation accumulation here. So, I mean, according to the GFS here for kind of midweek next week, I mean, we could pick up a couple of inches of rainfall. We'll see what Euro says. Yeah, Euro's a lot less, actually, as you can see. I mean, there definitely will be some rain out there. I just don't like to push it too far, you know, because, you know, the further you look in the models, the more inconsistent, more inaccurate it is. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, GFS suggests quite a few inches of rainfall, but Euro's like, nah, maybe not as much. Still a little bit, but not even really an inch in most places. Freebird says, thanks, Andrew. No problem. Looks like summer weather is coming. Yep, it sure is. And like I was mentioning, with those dew points in the 70s, my goodness, you guys are going to feel the mugginess. This is a typical Florida day with our dew points in the 70s and even sometimes 80s, which is why we are so muggy down here. That's, our dew points are so high, tons of moisture. Down in these regions. And the models suggest here, a lot of that moisture really, really looks up here, or really works its way up here, I should say, towards the Midwest and the Ohio Valley even. So what's the furthest out I'd look for reliability? I don't really like to look more than 5 days, but there is an exception. Sometimes if you get multiple models, like the Euro, the GFS, and some other models even, that consistently talk about a storm system not too far off from one another, sometimes it is okay to look a little further if you see a lot of agreement between multiple models, not a single model. If it's the GFS that shows the same thing, I wouldn't trust it fully. But if it's like Euro and GFS suggesting and a couple other models, something that's pretty decently far out, then possibly, yes. For an example of that, last week we were monitoring the models. We were looking at the GFS and the Euro, and both of the models showed a pretty big trough working its way through the country here for early next month, which, seems like it's forever, super far away, but it's not. Next month starts day after tomorrow. But anyways, we did see that was a common denominator between the two main models there. And sometimes if you see a lot of that from not only one run but multiple runs, then you can look a little further out. But typically, relatively speaking, I really don't like to look more than 5 days out because of how inaccurate things do eventually get. Because the more you progress in the time series, the more inaccurate things become. It becomes more noisy because, obviously, the closer you are, the easier it is to predict because it's not far in the future, and we can get a really good idea of what could happen based off of a lot of the numerical models, in the equations that are put into them, gives us a pretty good idea of what could happen in the short term. But yeah, the longer you go out, the more further you are away, which makes it more inaccurate. You visited Fort Lauderdale last week, and man, was it hot. Not used to it. I'm already used to it. I'm here in Central Florida, so yeah, I'm getting used to it. It's been upper 90s, kind of mid 90s lately here. It's been super, super warm and muggy here. Can I go over the spaghetti models and what they're used for? For Alvin? Sure, I could do that. So spaghetti models are individual models. They're not the same model. They're multiple different models. So they are really important. Here, let's go ahead and work our way back over. Actually, I'm just going to bring them down here. Why not? So typically, here's the spaghetti model. So each line represents a model. And not all models are the same. They each have different equations, different properties, and different resolutions, and everything like that. So they're not the same. There is a lot of different models. Now, like I mentioned, the thing in weather you really look for is a common denominator. That is a very important thing you need to look for when forecasting the weather. Now, whenever it comes to the spaghetti models, you really want to look for that median point. So as you can kind of see, we have the HWFI model here that goes way off to the west, while the main grouping of those models is further east. So we call this an outcast. This is a model that's suggesting a total opposite idea from what the majority of all the other models suggest. You can kind of assume that that's probably not going to be the track, right? So spaghetti models, they're really important for determining, the direction in which the storm is going, and the track of which, I should say, is probably more appropriate. Yeah, the track of which the storm could take. And each model represents a possible scenario, right? So, but yeah, typically you'd want to really look for where the middle of the grouping is, and that's kind of where you have the greatest probability of the storm following that path. Does that make sense? Because there's more models that suggest it going there than versus HWFI. I'm glad that this model actually had an outcast model, so I can kind of show you that. But hopefully that helps. But there's also uses for spaghetti models in terms of intensity as well. like this program or the site I use here also has it for intensity. You can see the models here have the storm, so it's basically wind speed over time. Time on the x-axis and the winds on the y-axis. And you can see here that we work our way down in time, and the middle of the models kind of roughly goes in here. So this would be like the best, kind of the average of what more than likely it would look like, if that makes sense. So, anyways, that is that. Sorry for all the questions. Like I said, I've been looking for this content. Yeah, of course, no problem. And I'm glad to help out. And always happy about sharing the weather. It's just always been my thing. I've always loved it, and I'm really happy to pass down some knowledge to you guys, of course. And that's what we're here for as well. Not only to help keep you guys safe, but also to educate y'all as well. That way, you guys can kind of learn more about it. Because once you learn a lot about weather, and once you really start to put pieces together, it is really cool. And there's so much going on in the atmosphere. It's just crazy. I mean, like when I was learning weather, I mean, probably close to 10 years at this point that I've really started sitting down and like studying it hard. But the one thing that is super cool and that is amazing is once you understand something and understand why something happens. And sometimes, you say you learn a specific subject and then you learn another subject, and then it's like, wait a minute, those two go together. And then you start kind of, grouping those together. And it's like, wow, man, that's really cool. And you can kind of see how things work in joint, which is really, really neat. But anyways, Cheryl says, I'm heading to bed. Very tired. Have a great weekend. You as well. You as well, my friend. So that is really about all we need to talk about tonight. I mean, we pretty much went over everything. We just hit our hour mark anyways, and it's getting late, of course. But we're going to go ahead and roll off here for now. Once again, I appreciate y'all for joining. And if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and leaving a like and maybe even sharing the channel to help spread the awareness and help spread us. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you guys could leave a like as well. Subscribed or not, if you guys could, be greatly appreciated. Thinking you want to become a meteorologist when you get older and teach people about the weather. That's a really good goal. Yeah, you should. It's really, really neat. But yeah, it's my first experience in the field, artillery and statistics for me right now. Everything's clicking with the weather. It's a cool feeling too, isn't it? It really, really is. But all right, everybody. Well, you guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and roll off here for now. Like I said, I'm gonna get some sleep and stuff here soon. Because it is getting a little bit late. But tomorrow we'll definitely give you guys more of an update and stuff, on what's going on with the weather and everything. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted about what's going on here for, like next week and all that fun stuff. And we'll keep you updated on the tropics too. Right now, nothing in the Atlantic, but we'll definitely be monitoring still. If anything pops up, then we'll let you know. But all right, everybody. You guys take care. Stream will be heading off here in a minute. Go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. And thank you all so much for joining. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you guys here in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all later on.